Good evening, everyone, and welcome to round 7 of the Dutch Speed Racing League Tier 1 Championship, coming to you from the legendary The Temple of Speed in Monza. After the chaos and controversy at Zandvoort, we straight head into another iconic circuit where speed, skill, and precision reign supreme. The Dutch Grand Prix was a roller coaster from light side to checkered flag. It was Aaron who started from pole, but after a dramatic race filled with 3 safety cars, strategy blunders, and multiple lead changes, his victory initiated looked uncertain due to a post-race penalty. However, following review, that penalty was overturned, confirming Aaron as the race winner, and so far Kick is on professional pole position as we watch Florian come towards the chicane, but unfortunately has elevated. So Kick is on professional pole for the time being, as we see Florian taking a few meter boards out, which is not going to make anybody happy running no line and assist, so that could be something to investigate. But following the review, that penalty overturned, confirming Aaron's the winner, extended his championship lead and reaffirming Ferrari's dominance this season. Behind him, Fireblaze delivered an impressive performance from Mercedes, even setting the fastest lap, while Panda stormed to the field from 14th on the grid to claim a driver of the day and a remarkable P3 finish despite him making contact early in the race and spinning out. It was a tough outing for Aaron's teammate Yannick, who saw his strong start unravel into the fortunate DNF, a missed opportunity that kept him third in the standings. Heading to Monza, the Drivers' Championship looks like this. Aaron leads with 93 points ahead of Kick in a Williams on 73, and Unique still holding third with 51 points. Behind him, Fireblaze moves up to fourth on 43, just ahead of Mills on 42, making incredibly tight in upper midfield. And now, it all leads to Monza, one of the most oldest and one of the most revered circuits in motorsport history, built back in 2022. This is the home of the Tifosi, the passionate sea of red that lives and breathes Ferrari. The track is pure speed, just 11 corners over 5.8 kilometers, while drivers spending more time on the throttle than around 80%. From the heavy braking zone at the Retifilla chicane through the Curva Grande, the challenging Rogers chicane, and the sweeping Lesmos, Monza is a test of nerve and precision. The Ascari chicane and the legendary Parabolica demand perfection. One mistake and the lap is completely gone. Slipstreams, battles, DRS trains, and last-minute lunges are all parts of the Monza experience. And for Ferrari, this is more than just another race. It's their home Grand Prix, their fortress. Can Aaron make it back-to-back victories as he's done this season and give the Tifosi something to celebrate, or Kick, Fireblades, or Mel spoil the party in the Temple of Speed? Expect fireworks. This is DRS Tier 1 or DSR Tier 1. This is round 7, and this is the Italian Grand Prix, where legends are born. Here comes Fireblaze towards the line, and it's a 17.813. Perfect timing to round off the intro, and he puts the Alpine on provisional pole. Can he strike back? Can he take the victory as he finished second place? He did, but on the circuit, but Aaron's penalty was overturned, therefore giving him the victory back, as we see Bean coming towards the end of the first set to Fireblaze's teammate, and he's 5 tenths down, so tells me he's not on a flying lap. So we had the 4 qualifying session, and we saw both Ferraris, unfortunately, out of Q1, or Q2. They were in Q2, but unfortunately couldn't make it because they crashed, both of them. So it could be a redemption for both of them here. Aaron's down in 16th place and last. Yannick is in P11, so both Ferraris here looks like they're on the back foot, but can they make it up? Can they strike form once again and come forward and take the top step of the podium, or should I say top step? But Kick is in P2, just a few hundreds behind Fireblaze there in first, and Kays goes up into P5 in the Kick Sauber. He's been looking very strong so far too this season. His teammate Rubens in P3, so both Kick Saubers doing a superb job so far in this qualifying session, and they're currently 4th and 6th now, because Aaron, talk about him, goes up into P3 with 18.020. On board with Jamaro in 40th place, coming down towards Parabolica now. They're running low on the battery as most of it's being used. It goes off the circuit there, and this could be not the validation as he makes his way down towards the line. He goes, it's P13, so taking a rather excursion off the track there, as Leonard is on the hard compound tyre, so don't expect any fireworks from him for the time being. He's on the hard compound tyre, so hopefully he puts on a set of soft compound tyres and see what he could do. But there is 6 minutes left to go in this session, so he hasn't got a lot of laps left to try and do something about it. Red Bull goes in towards the gravel there in the Aston Martin. That's going to be quite complicated to say, wouldn't it? Red Bull in the Aston Martin, but he's currently on another flying lap, or another, shall I say, push lap, no, out lap or in lap, whatever it is. As Means Virus goes up into P4 in the McLaren. He did join quite late in the qualifying session. He actually took part just now, so he's looking to do qualifying. Otherwise, he would have started at the back of the field. There was 16 before, now there's still 16. So one person is missing because Virus wasn't here in the last session. So I think somebody is missing. And what's going on there? I thought for 1 second the Ferrari had a mental breakdown, but it looks like he's able to keep the car going once again. It was just shaking all over the place. But I think Kick is not on a flying lap. He's done, I think, 2 laps on these set of soft compound tyres. I think just on his second lap right now he is. So quite an interesting tactic there from Kick in the Williams. We've got Ollie now on a flying lap in the first Lesmo and second Lesmo. He goes currently sat in P9 in the Mercedes, just behind Florian and ahead of Octavia doing relatively well inside the top 10. He did get knocked out of Q1, remember, in 16th place, and he's got a second chance, second bite of the cherry here, and he's been given another chance once again. But let's see if he can utilise this chance and put his Haas further up the field. Miles Makis in P11 in the Williams there. Let's see what he could do flying through. Oh, his team, I thought for 1 second, the way it looked, I thought that he was closer, but the Williams giving him a slipstream, almost blocking him there, and now we can head towards Parabolica. I'm quite surprised to see how people orchestrating the slipstream, and it seems like they're doing it on the back straight when no DRS is deployed. But here comes the Williams towards the line. He goes, it's P5 for Miles Makis, and slots in ahead of the Kick Saber. So majority of people are in the pit lane, ready for the last final flying laps around here in Monza. And let's see what they can do. Of course, Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton have held the record for the most F1 wins here at Monza, 5 wins each. And among the constructors, it's Ferrari that leads with the most Italian wins around here at Monza. When was the last time Ferrari won around here? It was 2024 with Charles Leclerc, and they won in 2019 too. The last win before that was it 2012? No, Sebastian Vettel took it. 2010? I can't remember now. I remember Vettel, definitely. You want me to show Mel's, but Mel's is in the pit lane, so I can't really show him. Oh, he's on the track. There he is. I just showed him a few minutes ago. But when was the last time Ferrari took a win before 2019? Was it 2010 with Fernando Alonso, or 2012? I think Vettel won in 2012, if I remember correctly. Then 2011, it was Vettel versus Alonso. Then Vettel came out on top. Then 2010, I think Ferrari took the victory. 2009 was Rubens Barrichello who won here at Monza for his last F1 win around here in Monza, I think it was, in the Brawn GP. Surprisingly, Brawn GP, I think, only had 2 wins in the second half of the season, maybe just 1 with Barrichello, because they dominated the first half of the season, didn't they? With Button taking 6 out of 7 wins. But I think Barrichello won twice, one in Valencia and 1 in Monza. Now we've got Florian in the Aston Martin on his out lap, ready to do his potential final flying lap in the Aston Martin. He picked up a 10-second temperature course at the Dutch GP. He was very quick and he was fighting against both Ferraris, but disaster struck when he sped in the pit lane, overtaking Fireblaze. Can he bounce back? And in my short time being here, he has definitely got some quick pace. He looks like he's doing another slow lap. He's giving the Alpine a nice toe. That's Bane. He's giving us this shoot towards Bane. So let's see if Bane can utilise this. 350 kilometers an hour, headed down in towards turn 1. Heavy braking zone in towards turn 1 there, as he just missed the corner in towards turn 1. Too much overspeed there, but still hooks up the corners very nicely, gets back on the throttle. And once again, another toe from the Aston Martin on this short straight, heading towards the second chicane. And let's see what his first sector is like. It's a 20... Well, he's 2 tenths down. In all honesty, though, I don't like... My personal opinion, I don't like the toe given to me like that, because it distracts you, doesn't it? I know it doesn't give you... I know he's not blocking you, but at the same time, it's hidden your vision as well, because you really want to hook up the apex. And look at that, massive wobble on going out the second chicane there, where I think Franco Colapinto and Magnussen went off in their years prior to this. As we head down towards the straight, into Sky we go. He's still 1 tenth down as he chucks the car in, going towards Sky, counter speed all the way through this particular part of the session, as the Alpine driver once again another toe, but that's a bit too much though. And unfortunately, this slipstream wasn't really timed to perfection there for Florian. It's a nice gesture, but massive understeer, too much dirty in the final corner, and Bean's lap time has been completely ruined as he heads back off in towards the pit lane. So Ruben was the kick saber in the way, giving Bean the dirty air. He's currently 3,000 ahead of him as we head down towards the first two corners, the heavy braking zone. Just want to make sure you pick up the traction very nicely and smoothly as well, making sure you don't encounter wheel spin, which is very easy to do, especially the heavy braking zone like that as we head down towards the Curva Grande. Now coming towards the second Delaware chicane, and he's a 10th up in the first sector. Oh, you know what? I thought for 1 second he took too much curb in the first part of that chicane, but got away with it, and he rode over it. Surprisingly, did not get any validation as we head down towards the second leg, but I think he was just on that cusp of being in the validation as the DRS once again is wide open. Florian's retired and left the session, so clearly a frustrated person there, unfortunately. I hope he rejoins back as we head down towards the sky. We go. The number 94 of Ruben heading down towards the back straight. He's currently up slightly in this middle sector, but it won't be enough to demote Miles Macias unless he can find more time in this final corner. Leonard's joined back, so he left the session too. Here we go towards the final corner. Kickstarter goes off the track, but still hasn't validated. Let's see what Ruben could do. He goes across the line. It's P6. Well, he stays P6 as qualifying has came to an end now. Miles Macias is on a lap time, so is Kick, so is Fireblaze on board with Fireblaze. The current pole sitter ahead of Kick, only by a few hundredths of a second. Old rivals in first and second place here as we head down towards Scotty. Fireblaze, unfortunately, has had a stinker of a lap time. He's down, but watch out for Kick as Kays goes up into P3 in the Kick Saber. What a mega lap time there from Kays as Kick is down in the middle sector by a few hundredths of a second, but unfortunately he has validated on board with Aaron in the Ferrari, last week's race winner, the man sitting in P3 in the championship. Let's see what he could do as he heads down towards the back straight. He goes, might pick up a little toe, but not too much there from the Williams as he flings the car in towards the final corner, pick up the throttle and head straight towards the line. Can the Ferrari take pole? The answer is yes. Yes, he can. A 70.802, and he's over 100 quicker than Fireblaze in second place. Such fine margins between all these drivers as Meme goes up into P6 or stays there as he didn't improve on his personal best. So that is the qualifying done for you. We're not having another lobby restart, are we? What's for Doma? If we do, that's the second restart, and we've had so many delays already, I'm not quite sure what's happening. But yes, of course, this year's Monza Grand Prix, Max Verstappen claimed victory again and setting records, one of the fastest races ever in Monza history. And guess where I was when the Monza Grand Prix was on? I was in the Netherlands watching the race in a bar with my Dutch friends, and unfortunately it wasn't really a spectacular race. I was actually quite bored watching the race, not going to lie with you. I had to sit there in the bar and watch the whole thing. But Aaron's on pole ahead of Fireblaze. The two Williams of Kick and Mel's on P3 and P4. K's in the Kick Sauber is P5 ahead of Means Virus. Rubens and P7 ahead of Bean. Ollie, Florian, Octavia, Red Bull, Jamaro, Panda, Yannick and Leonard in P16, who wasn't a hardcore part tires. He left the session earlier too, and unfortunately will start down in 16th place. Of course, my favourite Monza race is 2008. Not because it was a spectacular race, it was a good race, an amazing eventful race. It was because my favourite driver, Sebastian Vettel, won that day, and what a drive it was in the Toro Rosso in his rookie year. I know he participated in 2007. Oh, not another lobby restart. This is absolutely absurd. I will be back with you for the race. Of course, we got another lobby restart, which is unfortunate, but we're sustaining a few issues and bugs right now, so hopefully we can get this sorted out and keep the business going. But yes, like I was saying, I was at the Monza Grand Prix. No, I wasn't at the Monza Grand Prix, tell a lie. But when the Monza Grand Prix was happening, I was in the Netherlands, and it was my first time watching in a bar. And that was a special moment to be with friends, to watch the race at the bar. But it was just boring. Nothing really happened, and I was so disconnected and wasn't really keeping up. But one thing that did catch our attention was Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Norris sustained a terrible pit stop, and Oscar Piastri went through. And we were excited between Piastri versus Norris, but unfortunately, the McLaren team had to go swapping around, didn't they? Like, I don't understand what's going on with McLaren sometimes. It's just absolutely bizarre and absurd, and to micromanage these situations to poor effect. Sorry about that. But yeah, to manage these situations in a poor way, let them race. What are you going to do if Norris breaks down? Make Piastri break down too? It was just bizarre, really. The way McLaren managed things is just terrible. It was so frustrating when we saw Norris overtake Piastri. Norris get back through on Piastri. But yeah, Verstappen won for the most fastest race in Monza ever in history. Maybe the most fastest races in Formula 1, I think it was at the time. So Yuki Tsunoda was nowhere, almost lapped by Verstappen, which was embarrassing. Verstappen dominated as expected. Well, I say as expected, but in honesty, I didn't think Verstappen was going to win. I thought qualifying was going to be the main norm for Verstappen, the highlight for him, but he went on to win the race, which was spectacular. So fair dues to Verstappen. He's still in a championship fight, is Max Verstappen, against both McLaren drivers. Now, I'm quite interested to see how that goes down, because the Red Bull car has been looking very strong so far, and the way their form is going, it could be Verstappen in the hunt for the championship, and it all depends how McLaren fall under as well that category, because if McLaren keep making mistakes and keep with these performances, I don't think, it's going to be quite hard for Verstappen to win the championship. It's like the other way round, when Verstappen was dominant in the first half of the season, 2024, then McLaren came back, but McLaren didn't really utilise the opportunities because of their strategies and mistakes from Norris and Verstappen's excellency to keep Norris at bay in the races too. And this season is the other way around, with Verstappen catching both McLarens. We got both McLarens, but I still think in my mind Piastri will win the championship, but Verstappen ultimately will get very close, and if his car's still in good fashion and form, he still could get towards McLaren. McLaren, though, even though they won the championship, they've still got some controversy. I think there's still some issues and controversy with McLaren now. Welcome back to Monza. It is time for the 27-lap race around here at the Temple of Speed. Qualifying was set. I think the pole sitter was Kick. I can't actually remember, even though it was a few minutes ago. My memory is horrified, so apologies about forgetting who that was. It wasn't Fireblaze. I think he got it taken away from him at the last moment, but it could have been Fireblaze. But we'll see what happens in this 27-lap race. It could be chaotic, but there's 30 people, so hopefully it won't be too dramatic, and we'll see what can happen. Well, I've just seen something and I might actually do it because why not? Because I'll actually do it if something happens. But here we go then. I think it's the formation lap underway and we'll see what the tyres have gone. People have gone for mediums and hardcore power tyres. 30 drivers. It was Aaron. I didn't think it was Aaron who took pole for some reason. I just had in my head that he didn't take pole, but he has. So one Ferrari at the back, one at the rear end. So it's a Ferrari sandwich here in Tifosi, and we'll see what happens going in towards turn number one. I think some people want me to clip farm, so I'll do some clip farming then for your content. And if anybody does something, then I'll go ballistic, if you know what I mean. 2 people have been disqualified from this formation lap. Yeah, that's going to be some cold tyres, especially the hardcore powered tyres. Will we see any drama on the first lap of the race, like back in 2011 when Liuzzi sent it down the inside, should I say, and took out Rosberg and, was it Vitaly Petrov at the time? I think it was Petrov in the Renault. That was the race where Vettel and Alonso had their little moment as well when they went off. Why is it starting now? Is it supposed to be started early? Yes, it was, mate, but unfortunately we had a lot of technical difficulties. We had 2 restarts, and that's why we're starting much later. Yes, I know it's not ideal, but there's 13 people now. We did start with 17, 18, but now we're down to 13, so unlucky number. But we'll see what happens then going in towards this race. It's a one-stop strategy. It should be, but it's all about managing in the first stint. So we'll see what happens. I've got a takeaway, you know, and that's been cold because, well, it's not cold. It's just been delivered, but thanks to these delays, it's going to get colder and colder. I've ordered pizza, and that's the tradition around here, Monza, isn't it? So, traditions, but we'll see. I'm excited for this race as well. We've got some high contenders there inside the top 5. Miles Marquez once again doing a great job. Both Williams are splitting the strategies. That's going to be quite an interesting take in towards this race. But the drivers line up on the grid for this 27-lap race around here in the Monza Temple of Speed. And hopefully it's one of the fastest races, this one, because I want to get going very soon after all these delays. The lights are on the panels. 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And we're underway here, Monza. The Monza Grand Prix is underway with the Ferrari getting to start very well. He maintains the lead in towards turn 1. We go the heavy braking zone. Fireblaze not able to make a move, but off the track goes the racing bull. He goes fully off the track, misses his braking point. The kick-saver goes off the track too in towards turn 3. Where's that racing bull rejoined? He's got a 10-second penalty. Of course it was him. Of course it was Jamaro who did that. And he completely missed his braking point. Look at this. We've got a kick-saver. We've got a Haas going side by side. In towards the chicane we go. The Haas is laying the brakes there. We've got some contact behind us. And the Mercedes goes off the track and almost in towards the pass of the kick-saver there. He has to concede defeat and drop a few places too. That was Mercedes of Ollie, I think it was. And now the Ferraris go side by side. But Miles Marquez is dropping down the order, gets squeezed off the track. Here comes the kick-saver. He goes up into P6 there. A terrible start for Miles Marquez on those hardcore powered tyres. Maybe the tyres are too cold and therefore not giving the grip off the line. He's followed down into P7, but there's still plenty of time to wake up. Still plenty of... Oh, the kick-saver goes off in the gravel. He spins and he's in the fucking wall. Oh my goodness me. Really just lost the traction there at the exit of Ascari. And he dropped down into P13 on board with Kick in the Williams behind the LP driver of Fireblaze as we head off. Round off lap 1 in towards lap 2. Aaron's now set to lap 2. Here comes Fireblaze with the slipstream. and he blazes past the Ferrari. He's up into first place, takes the lead immediately, and let's see, can he maintain that though? Got a long race ahead of us, but of course these guys were traded DRS and Slipstream. Fireblaze is up into first place. He missed on a win due to Aaron getting his penalty removed, but he's looking for redemption, looking for a comeback. Here comes the Ferrari immediately as we head down towards the chicane. We go. There's no way he's going to think about sending the move up the inside. Nope, he backs off for the time being. Don't want to be too aggressive in these parts of the Grand Prix, especially when the tyre wear is high. It's all about managing. I think the left front tyre takes a lot of beating and punishment around here too, especially in the first two Degners. So it's about managing these tyres. Don't want to take too much out of them in the first stint. Micromanaging in the first stint is very important for this race. It settles you very nicely. But here goes the Ferrari. No way. Going to think about a move down the inside here. Not for the time being. He stays behind the RP driver. He goes wide though, and off the track he goes. And that was a warning, I presume, as well. Look at a few people in the background going wide at the Ascari chicane. And Ruben has picked up a 3-second penalty for going off the track there in towards Ascari. Ruben's had a terrible start. He made a big mistake on the first lap and another mistake in the same place he spun off early on as well. So a horrendous start there for Ruben as Fireblaze now leads the way with the fast lap of the race. Here comes Aaron with the DRS, Slipstream, battery with the overtake going down towards turn 1. He thinks about it, he pokes out but doesn't go for a move for the time being as we see the Mercedes and the Williams there swap places, but Ollie goes sideways in towards turn 1. A rear lock in the brakes, and this could give Mel's, who's that in the background? The Kickstarter goes off the track there too, and a 10-second penalty has been given towards him. He's had a terrible race so far. Is the Kickstarter of Ruben, high qualifying position, but unfortunately a disaster of a race. I tell you what though, Octavia is looking very good so far in P5. A man who does struggle and who struggles to get himself inside the top 10 is currently running in 5th place, and he could be on course for a good result too. He's on the hardcore power tyres and he's keeping up with these guys on the medium, so it's looking good for his race so far if he can keep up with his pace and keep up with the guys at the top of the field on the mediums too, whilst these three all in contention of each other too. But Williams of Kick, who goes very wide indeed, and now McLaren and Means is on the back of him too as we head down towards this short straight. Ruben once again playing with fire and exploits the track limits as we head down towards Parabolica. Could we see some changes on this next lap with the people with the DRS wide open and the drivers having a massive slipstream effect in towards the first corner? Let's see then with the DRS wide open for Aaron. Will he go back into the lead of the Grand Prix? He stays behind, he's harvesting his battery, he's waiting for the right opportunity. For 1 second I thought he'd dive into the inside, but doesn't do so for the time being. Ruben has left the session in frustration. His race is done and dusted, but who was that side by side? That was Mel's versus Ollie. So Mel's is struggling to find some pace here on the hardcore power tyres. He can't settle into a rhythm, and now he's got a few cars right behind him as well, fighting for 8th place. Here we go. Oh, here comes, who's that? The Ferrari side by side in towards the second chicane. We go. Oh, can't damage in the two, and squeezed off there in towards the gravel. Ishanik, and now he's defending from the racing ball, who goes around the outside in towards the first Lesmo, but not able to make the move there for the time being. Memes is rather back a kick once again, make a mistake there in the second chicane. Second Degner, second Lesmo, whatever. Here comes Memes on the inside up to 3rd place and takes away that 3rd place there for the final spot of the podium. But of course, he's outside the DRS range. Can he get himself back in the DRS range? Oh, massive snap of oversteer, and now Kick takes advantage once again. So Octavia is sitting pretty in P5. And here we go, coming down in towards the Parabolica corner. Thank you, Jep. This is my first time commentating for this league, so that's why I'm a bit rusty so far. I've not really had much experience around here. Here we go with the DRS, wide open once again. Here comes Aaron, gaining and gaining and gaining, but not going to go for it for the time being. And here comes Memes. Here he is, up towards turn 1, gets a bit of a tap. Does Kick towards Memes there. Now they've lost the DRS, so it's Aaron versus Fireblaze for the lead of the Grand Prix. Whilst Memes Fire is looking behind him, seeing the Kick right behind too. So they lost the DRS now, fighting for third place, the final spot on the podium. Can he get it? Which one of these three, which one of these four will get it as we head down towards the chicane we go? The gap is 1.6 seconds there, so when you lose the DRS around this circuit, or any circuit, it's difficult. It's impossible to get yourself back in there, unless the top two trip over themselves. But now, they've pulled away from the rest of the field. They can take control of this race and now focus on each other. But Aaron's so close there, putting Fireblaze under immense pressure. Can he force him into a mistake? Will Fireblaze just outbreak himself? But Aaron there in the chicane lost a bit of momentum. He did lose about 2 or 3 tenths in the chicane as well, so he does struggle at that particular part of the track. But Fireblaze, consistent, level-headed, keeps the lead for the time being though. But this is good though for Fireblaze and Aaron, because those two now can control the race and sort out themselves, as Octavia is right behind Kick. Here we go, there with the DRS wide open. Look at the overspeed, almost 3 abreast as Memes gets swamped in the middle there. Nowhere to go. And Octavia side by side gives him a bit of a tap in towards turn 1 we go. Between the Haas and the Williams, they're under massive pressure now from the McLaren driver. Octavia is up at the P3, can you believe it? I didn't think this day was coming for Octavia. No offence to him, but he does struggle quite a lot. He usually gets knocked out of Q1 quite a lot as well. Do you only commentate Division 1? Yes, I do. I only do the commentate for Division 1. That's Thursdays is the only day I'm free. Well, I say fortunately, because I can't be bothered commentating for multiple divisions. It's too much work. It is way too much work. Panda gets ahead of Bean. Bean has dropped down into P12 after starting P8. He did have a good qualifier, but Aaron's right behind once again of Fireblaze. It's very important though that these two don't trip at themselves, because they got the gap behind. They've got a massive advantage, so there's no... Oh, once again, Aaron getting a squirrely there out of Ascari, and Octavia as well off the track too, so that could be an infringement for him. But it's very important now that these two don't fight in the first part. I know it's entertaining for us, but for their race, they've got the gap behind of Octavia. They're out of the DRS, and they could control the race for themselves. Be alone, these two can. Aaron's running pretty low on the ERS level management there as we head down towards turn 1. Case is ahead of Memes Virus, so Memes Virus is struggling in the McLaren as we see them going down towards turn 1, but Memes lays the brakes there. Oh, Kick almost lost the car under braking, controls it once again, but that's a neat move from Memes to maintain P5, but Kick loses traction once again at the exit of turn 2, so having a horrible time with traction and sliding all over the place is the Williams driver as we head down towards the second chicane we go. Pretty much now a private battle for P3 for Octavia the hard compound tyres, but there's a whole chain of cars behind it. The hard compound tyres mixed up with the mediums, splitting strategies, and Kick, unfortunately, is struggling there, as you can see in the Williams. Sadly, I started driving, so I'm in Div 3, but I love to watch my race back. Yeah, it's always nice to have a commentator and to watch the race back. I know it is, but do you know if there's someone commentating Tier 3 tomorrow? I'm not sure, mate, to be honest with you. Could be a Dutch commentator, could be an English commentator. Do you know what's funny as well? This is a Dutch league, I think. Every single person here is Dutch, and you've got an English commentator, which is quite surprising. I'm more integrated in towards the Dutch community because I commentate for 2 Dutch leagues, SDN, DSR, JSR, whatever. Oh, Kick, what have you done? Oh, he's in the pit lane. He is in the pit lane to get rid of his midi-compound tyres. Quite an early stop, but I think he was struggling really badly on those midi-compound tyres. They're just having no grip or purchase as Unique is up into P7, the side-by-side towards turn 2. Oh, it's so close to the exit there, but enough space and respect is given between those two. Now the main wheel to wheel between the Ferrari and the Mercedes there. Ollie on the midi-compound tyres, which means he doesn't have much grip in comparison towards the Ferrari as we head down towards the second chicane. I thought for 1 second it's Dutch speed racing. Oh, yeah, it pretty much explains it, doesn't it? It does explain. That makes sense now. DSR is Dutch speed racing. I commentated for a Dutch league in the Netherlands. Can you believe it? I was actually there in the Netherlands for a 24-hour race, and you had an English commentator commentating for a Dutch event in Lelystad, and it was a great event indeed, with so much action, so much people making contact and spinning out, etc. The wet conditions also playing a part of the race. But here comes Kays now on the back of the McLaren. I don't think people care that it's an English commentator, because obviously they're grateful to have a commentator. I know Dutch people understand English because it's their second language or something, so I don't think they're bothered about that, having a English commentator. I know you prefer the Dutches, but here we go once again with the DRS open. Aaron is quite low on the ERS. That's a problem too, because even though he's sat behind Fireblaze, you think he'd save a battery and just conserve, but he's not doing that right now. So I think it's very important for Aaron in this stage to just save up the battery and attack later on the Grand Prix. We like English comms. Doggy ball. Doggy ball. I appreciate it. So we've got a few people pitting now. Means Virus is on the hardcore pod side. Do you know what? I think your Dutch commentator for Formula One is it's not Ziggo Sport anymore. Is it what's that? Ziggo T? It's not Ziggo Sport. What is it? I can't remember what it is, but I know you guys don't like your Dutch commentator in Formula One. You guys used to have Olaf or something as the Dutch commentator for Formula One, but unfortunately he's not there no more. He used to do Ziggo Sport. Via Play, that's the word I'm looking for. Yannick there pulls out the slipstream and he takes on the Williams. He goes up into P5. Neat move there from the Ferrari driver. He's 1.5 seconds away from Kays. Kays in P4 is running a solid race. Olav Moll. That used to be the Dutch commentator. I think because of money or something, you weren't able to have him. I know he's still around. I think he does radio commentary, also did our podcast. But Aaron is in the pit lane to get rid of his mini compound tyres, and he's looking to the undercut Fireblaze. Let's see if that pays dividends for his race. Aaron looking for another victory in succession, and can he do that? But Fireblaze, the mighty force of that Dutch driver, the calibre of the driver is so strong. As Aaron, the last time Aaron pitted, unfortunately, he made contact with somebody in turn 3 in Zandvoort. So hopefully that doesn't happen again when he exits the pit lane. Where's his teammate? His teammate's in P4, but here comes Aaron out of the pit lane, and now he goes up into P7. I bet you guys wondering, how do I know so much about Ziggo Sport, Via Play, etc. Well, he started loyal to Ziggo, and he has an F1 radio podcast now with a friend. Well, my friend is called Bjorn, and he actually has close connections with Olav, and he's a radio podcaster. He does edits and he films clips with them, and basically sometimes he's on a podcast himself. And I had the pleasure to commentate with Bjorn, who is friends with Olav, as we see Kick go off to the background there, and Ollie gets a 3-second penalty. So I've actually met somebody who knows Olav and works with him personally too. A really good person. Obviously, I don't know Olav. I've never spoken to him before, but my mate works with him. My friend actually works with him, which is quite unreal to believe. But Fireblaze is in the pit lane to respond to the undercut from Aaron, which let's see if that works or not. Aaron's got a few cars behind him, so I think Fireblaze could fall in towards the clutches of this group here. Kick means Virus. The undercuts work to perfection. I said the undercut. It hasn't really worked, but it's got them closer towards Aaron. They were out of the DRS range, but can they utilise this advantage now and stay within DRS range for their race? Here comes Fireblaze out of the pit lane, and Kick goes past. Here comes the McLaren driver, side by side, out of turn 1 and turn 2. Is this a Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton situation? Oh, there's contact in towards turn 2, but luckily nobody goes over the top of each other. Means Virus now side by side with the Alpine. Fireblaze will be so frustrated now, the rubber wheels, and Fireblaze goes past him. That was exactly like Verstappen. And here comes Kick on the Ferrari, goes up into P5. He takes the lead of the Grand Prix, or shall I say the net lead of the Grand Prix, and goes up into 4th place. It is awesome indeed, very awesome. And I've known Bjorn for like years and years. He wanted to be a journalist. He's a podcaster and works for a radio station with Olav himself. He's interviewed Gunther Steiner before as well, my friend Bjorn. And the reason why I know him, because he used to do F1 league racing, and he's a commentator as well for Formula One, but he's stopped commentating because he's a journalist now. As we see, the Racing Bull gets a 3-second penalty, and he commentated with me for the 24-hour race in Lelystad. The first time I met him, and that's the first time we commentated together, which was quite a unreal experience. Or should I say surreal experience. And look at Kick now, with a whole ton of cars right behind. Here comes the Ferrari, the Alpine, and the McLaren, with the DRS wide open. Here comes Fireblaze. Sorry, here comes Aaron for the lead of the Grand Prix. Here comes Fireblaze. And will Fireblaze overtake the Ferrari driver as we head down in towards turn 1, thinking about a move. Just pulls out to the right side to let him know he's there. His presence is very much known to the Ferrari driver. And Kick, who was in the lead for a short time, falls back into P5. We've got a few people pitted too, onto a set of mediums or hardcore powered tyres. We're back to where we started the first stint, with Fireblaze and Aaron scrapping away for first place. Fireblaze does have the younger tyres in comparison towards this group, because Means Virus and Kick pitted early, but Kick, surprisingly, is already struggling there in the Williams. Look at the understeer he has in the first Lesmo. I think it's very important now for Means Virus to get past him and the focus of Fireblaze and Aaron, because as you've seen, Kick wasn't able to stay within DRS range And now here comes Fireblaze. He's staying and waiting and waiting and waiting. I'm not going to go for the move just yet. He knows that he has a long race ahead of him, so there's no need to fight too much at this stage of the Grand Prix. Although, he's got to watch out for kick. That's the Constitution effect. That's the DRS as history playing a massive effect into this race. And we're headed down towards Parabolica. What's the new commentator called for not Ziggo Sport, Viaplay? Because I heard people don't like it for some reason. I don't think that he follows the racing action properly, or says some very stupid stuff indeed. And who's that at the pit lane? That's Yannick, who's out of the pit lane as we get back on board with this battle for first place. An interesting scrap. Me and Virus there, almost alongside the Williams driver, but not able to go past him for the time being towards turn one. Massive wheel spin again for kick. You can see the car just complaining every time he puts the power down. Fireblaze, he's so close, but the Ferrari's defending. But there's no need to defend on that particular occasion because Fireblaze was just too far back to make a move going down in towards the chicane we go. But Fireblaze looking very good so far in this race. He's been controlling this race. He's had the pace to do so far. But Aaron's still there. He is still a threat in the Ferrari, going for multiple wins this season and looking to try and extend that championship lead. I do believe it. Yeah, it is. It is Aaron who leads the championship. Kicks in second place in the championship, and Fireblaze is fourth. Yannick's in third place, but Yannick, unfortunately, in the other Ferrari, is not having a good race. And after this race, Fireblaze could be closer towards in terms of the championship. But Aaron has won multiple races this season. He is the driver to watch out for, and he's definitely doing that. Do you know what? He's so lucky that he had a lobby restart, because in qualifying he was not at a Q2. But of course we reran qualifying due to a technical glitch, and he's done a good job so far. He's literally been given a second chance, and he's used that to his advantage. But there's a long way to go in this race. 13 laps left to go, and he's got Fireblaze to deal with. Octavia is still in P6. He's on the hard compound tire. Wait, what? Oh no! What is this strategy? Oh, that's not the way to go. It's a one-stop for sure. It's hard. Well, that is pretty interesting from Octavia and Mels Macias, but that is not the way to go. You need a pure pace advantage. A big pace advantage if you're going to implement this strategy. And if they're stuck in the DRS train, that's not going to work for them at all. So that is definitely, unfortunately, the wrong strategy there for Octavia. I thought he was cooking with the strategy. I wonder why he pitted so early on the hard compound tyres. And means Virus has picked himself up a 3-second tyre penalty, unfortunately, in this race. And who's that gone for a spin down there? It is the Racing Bull who has lost his wing in the second Lesmo. Yeah, it is the Lesmo. Do you know what? For some reason, I get mixed around with Degner and Lesmo. Degner is in Japan, and Lesmo is here in Monza. Don't know why, for some reason. But Fireblaze is derating down the straight. Here comes Fireblaze down the inside in towards turn one. It's a late move side by side in towards 1 and 2. But the Ferrari just holds off the side, being the Racing Bull. And in the background, now it's Octavia versus Means Virus side by side. Here comes and the Ferrari driver as we head down towards the second chicane we go. Too far back on this occasion to make a move, but further behind means Virus can't get past. He's behind Octavia, and Octavia has been running a solid race so far. Now it means Virus who seems to be struggling here in this DRS train. Kick was struggling, but looks like he's found some form and momentum. Oh, the Racing Bull, that's going to be a safety car, and it is! Why? If you're going to retire, man, do it in the pit lane. Chutzpah, why are you going to do it on the track for? I get it, you're frustrated, you're angry, you're pissed off, but at the same time though, just do it in the pit lane. What's going on here? So I forgot he's still in first place, but what are these guys doing? Yeah, I forgot this man. Do you know what? Kays has been massively advantaged by this. I forgot he was in first place. My bad. And he's in the pit lane right now to put on his empty compound tyres. What a strategy for him in first place. This race has changed heads once again. Aaron is pitting. All these guys will pit again on the new set of medium compound tyres or hards, depending on what they've got at this disposal. Who's that going through? It's Miles Bacchus who was going through. But I'm going to go right now because I need a toilet really badly. I drank too much water at the start of this race. So look at that. Perfection there for Case. He's rejoined in first place. But I'll be right back with you because I'm going to go to the toilet. Alright boys, I'm back, and Kays is in the lead of this Grand Prix. I think I'm saying his name right, because in English it's Keys, which is quite a funny name, but of course in Dutch it's different. It's Kays, I think, and I should know this because one of my friends I've known for since 2018, 2019. I met him in the Netherlands this year, and his name is Kays. So hopefully I should pronounce that right. If I don't, that's bad for me, because I can't pronounce my own friend's name right. But he's on the mini-cop pod tires. Do you know what the benefit for him is? You've got two guys behind him on a hardcore pod tire. Ollie says he's cooked. Yeah, you are cooked, mate. I think you're fucked, because the guys behind on the new set of mediums are hardcore pod tires, so you're definitely cooked. But Kays is in a sweet spot now to try and build up the lead, whilst Aaron, Fireblades and the rest of them behind have to overtake those two of the hardcore power tires. Those two people, the hardcore power tires, could be a roadblock for Kays, and it could be quite interesting to see how he now orientates it, how he leads this race. I don't normally belong here, says Ollie. Well, welcome to the top, mate, but you might get put down after this safety car. But good luck, and stop commenting and focus on the race. So now Kays leads. Can he take this opportunity with his hands now? And he finished P5 at the Dutch GP, 5th at the British GP. He has a good record for finishing inside the top 10. What can Kays do? Best result this season, I think, was P4 at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Could he be on for at least a podium? I really hope he gets a podium at least, because he does deserve it with some great pace. And the strategy worked into his hands with that late safety car coming out. There is 10 laps left to go in this race, and let's see what happens in this final part of the race. 11 drivers left in this Grand Prix, and let's see who will take the crown afterwards. Here comes the kickstart around the final corner as they lead the way. Look at Aaron already overtaking. Was that what he needs to give that back? That's before the safety car line, and now Fireblaze is arriving on the scene as Aaron's defended, but he can't do much because Fireblaze is right there alongside. It's a drag race all the way down in towards turn 1. Here comes Aaron on the Mercedes. Nice move. But he outbraked himself. He almost lost the car. And Fireblades now is side by side with the Mercedes driver. He needs to overtake immediately. The Mercedes loses traction as Fireblaze goes past him, which was very important for him not to lose his race with Aaron behind him or in front of him. Now here comes the Haas driver, Octavia. And down the inside goes the Ferrari. It's side by side. Oh, there's contact behind us. There is contact, and Aaron's under massive pressure for Fireblaze. We go side by side in towards the first Lesmond. Oh, there's contact. Fireblaze in the fucking spin. He lost the car, and he's rejoined all the way down into 11th place, unfortunately. The driver It was a contention for the lead of the Grand Prix and the win. Has fallen into P11. That's a big chance gone now. Octavia goes past Aaron. Unbelievable. He's up into P3. Meanwhile, Kays is in first place. The gap is 3.1 seconds. He has a big chance to win this Grand Prix. Look at the kick Sauber all the way down the road. In the background, the two Alpines tripping over themselves. As we see the Williams. Oh, the Haas! Oh, my goodness me. Octavia is attacking the defender for his life. There's more contact. Oh, he gets shoved off the road there. Does the Williams, the Wells back, yes. And now Aaron goes up into P2. DRS has been enabled in this dramatic race. And now we see some more action with kick right behind the Haas. And here comes the McLaren driver. It's going to get messy all the way down in towards turn 1. Multiple cars going side by side. As we head towards the break, so we go. The Haas up the inside of the Ferrari. Can they make it out cleanly? Is there going to be any more contact between these guys? Thankfully not for the time being. But better exit there from the Ferrari driver. Puts the pressure on Means Virus. Yannick is in P6, looking to attack him in the McLaren as we head down towards the second straight. And now here we go, in towards the break, so we go. Any more contact? And we see Panda and Fireblaze side by side. Oh, it's getting so close. He gets put off into the gravel there. And they're still connecting wheels. They're still connected. And finally, they're disconnected. Panda, though, gets shoved off towards the grass there. Fireblaze is not happy. There's a big chance for him to win this race, but now it's gone completely out the window. Here comes Aaron on Octavia as we... Oh, contact on the straight as we head down towards Sky we go. But no move down here for the time being. Kays is going to win this Grand Prix. The gap is almost 5 seconds whilst these guys keep squabbling and keep tripping themselves up. Kays has a massive gap. If he doesn't win this Grand Prix, that's the biggest blunder of the year. The biggest bottle as we head down towards Parabolica we go. All these guys tucked in right behind. You know what? I'm having fun commentating here. I'm not even taking it too seriously anymore. As the DRS is wide open then on the main straight. We'll see who changes, who swaps where. As we head down towards the first corner, towards the heavy braking zone. Here comes Aaron switching there. Octavia. Oh, contact as well going in towards turn 1. That was very late from Octavia. Getting his elbows out, doing a Max Verstappen type shit there, and moving on the braking. And Aaron will not be happy with that one as well. Kays has been blessed with that safety car, and the two people in the hot cup outside. As we see the Williams off in towards the gravel there. It's as we now head towards the break, so we go between the Ferrari and the Williams. Would it be a switchback? No, it won't be, because he himself doesn't get on contact. Oh, fucking massive between Kick and Aaron. And that could be another safety car. I think it's a VSC. The VSC has been deployed, but we saw a massive hit between those two. Can you believe it? Two contenders for the podium have been now out of this race. The championship leader is out of the race. Wow, my heart's going here. Could have a heart attack very soon. VSC has been deployed. Where's Fireblaze in all of this? He's still in P7, quite a long way behind as well. Kick is now out of Aaron is now out of this race. Kick has got damage, so two favourites for this race have been, well, three favourites, Fireblaze, Kick and Aaron, are now out of the equation and gone. However, if you please clip that and put it on TikTok. I'm just over farming, I mean clip farming at this point. But here comes the DRS has been activated once again. The VSC has ended. Means Virus does have a 3-second tablet. Do you know what? Yanni could be on the podium still, despite being nowhere in this race the whole time. He could still be on the podium. I don't know how on earth those two crashed there going towards the first Lesmo, but there was a massive hit we saw. When was the last time we saw a crash there? Here comes the McLaren now side by side with the Haas in towards the breaking zone. And that's going to end badly, and it has ended badly. He's in a spin. And unfortunately, his podium chances has been right with it. This race is going to end with 0 people at this point. I'm quite surprised I'm still here. What a horrifying race. Worse than PSGL on yesterday. For those who know what I'm talking about here. But yeah, hopefully it settles down now. Yannick is still in P3, putting pressure. Do you know what? Fireblaze, Octavia gets a penalty as well. Where is he? P2. Fireblaze is in P6, still there in the Alpine, just holding on for dear life, trying to reclaim a podium. His teammates right in front of him have been. And yes, Octavia does have a penalty. Miles Makis is back into P4 as well, despite his spin earlier on in this race as well. Taking a very abrupt line going towards the final corner, and now here comes, Octavia is ahead. Here comes Bean. on Miles Marquez. Here comes Fireblades, 3 abreast on the straight, and the Williams gets swamped as we head down towards turn 2. Oh, there's a spin from the Williams, and Miles Marquez has dropped it. Wow. I don't know what people are saying in the chat right now, but I don't think you can believe what's going on in this race right now. Too much action. Here comes kick on Fireblaze, on Bean, sorry, in towards the second chicane we go. Looking to do a switchback, and now trying to get alongside and overtake him, but he backs off for the time being, not wanting to make the same mistake he did a couple of laps ago on Aaron. But Yannick, who came from absolutely nowhere in this race, just never to be seen, and now he's in P3 and looking for a podium. He's got to overtake him cleanly. There's no point fighting too hard against him because he knows he's got a 3-second penalty, so don't scrap away too hard. Fireblaze could be back on the podium despite what happened to him. This race has had so many twists and turns, and we've still got probably 5 more laps left of it as well. 5 more laps of chaos in this race. As we head towards the final corner, all these guys rise to back of Octavia, who's been very aggressive in this race, moving left to right every time in the breaker zone, but I don't think there's no defence. Yes, he is. He's going to try and defend this. Oh, he's going to put him in the wall. Don't do it. As Yannick is up into P2, but Octavia dives back down the inside, makes contact with the Ferrari, and he goes off into the grass, goes off the track and gets a 3-second penalty as well for good measure. Wow. I think every single driver has lost their heads, including me. And now Fireblaze is in a prime position to retake the podium as we head down towards the second chicane. Sem says, what is this race? Yep, what is it? Now Octavia on the grass there, Fireblaze. I wonder what Fireblaze is thinking, seeing what they've... Oh, look at the Alpine there. I thought for 1 second Bean was about to be overtaken by the Williams driver into towards the second Lesmo, but Fireblaze now needs to be careful because we've seen what Octavia is doing in this race. He's being super aggressive and he's used all his battery too for good measure. Octavia is just getting his elbows out. I've never seen Octavia this aggressive. He's always calm, passive, laid back type of driver, but for some reason his head has been loose. He's got a few screws loose in this race, and he's definitely been very aggressive indeed, which I've never seen him do before, so something's triggered Octavia. Here we go with the DRS wide open, but Octavia's barely got any battery in his disposal to use, and Fireblaze, here he comes, he overtakes the LP driver, the Haas driver, and here he is on the Ferrari driver as we head down towards turn 1. Is it 2 for 1? Not quite there yet, but he could do a smash back, the Ferrari's lost it, and through goes Fireblaze, and here comes Octavia too. Losing traction at the exit of turn 2. Yannick has been swamped by Fireblaze, and here comes Octavia once again, and the Ferrari goes on the grass there. Oh, there's contact into the fucking wall, and the Ferrari spun around too. What was that there from Octavia? Completely lost his marbles here. And Kick, despite making contact and lost the end plates against Aaron, and Octavia goes off the track, and now he's put the Alpine in the wall. The Alpine goes through, and here comes Kick. Switch back on both of them, and the DRS too for good measure. And here comes Panda, who took the podium last week, and now he's overtaking Octavia for P5. Kick does not have the straight line. Look at that. Look at the straight line speed there from the Alpine. Kick has lost an end plate, of course. He hasn't got a 3-second penalty, does the Williams driver, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with Octavia right now. I've never ever seen him drive like this. Over a year, I've commentated him in different leagues, and he's never driven like this. He's always been like a laid-back type of driver, and the one that doesn't make mistakes. Well, he does, but I mean, doesn't lose his head like that, doesn't make contact with people. Driving like Thomas Ronald right now. Here comes Kick with the DRS, but he's got Panda right behind. Panda looking for a way past if he can, but Kick goes defensive on the inside, blocking the cover, blocking the road off. There is 3 laps left to go in this race, and Kick there was just teleported for a few seconds. So Fireblaze, he cannot catch Kays. Do you know what? Kays should be able to win this Grand Prix, as Mel's now sets the faster for the race, as we've got some more action going in towards the second chicane. The battle for P3 is not done just yet, and I have no idea who is going to finish at P3 despite all the chaos and carnage we've seen. Means Virus now goes up into P6. Yannick is dropping backwards as well in the Ferrari. But Octavia has made a lot of enemies on this track today. I don't know why he's been driving like this with Octavia. He's just completely not on character for Saltiva. I don't have any words really for him anymore. Just lost my words for him. In the background, he's gone off, and Unique is about to overtake him. Maybe fighting for a podium, and he got frustrated by something, and unfortunately just lost his head. Hopefully, there is nothing more. Hopefully, there's no more chaos going on now, because I'm completely lost for words. As you could see, I've never witnessed a race like it before. I think Tortavia has spun around, and they're both in the wall there together. Tortavia just literally taking people out at this point. You know what, Kick? If he's smart about this, he won't fight Bean. I know he's lost an end plate. I know he wants to fight for the podium on the track. But think about it. He's lost an end plate, and the dirty air plus the front wing damage is not going to pay him any dividends as well. So the best idea for him is to sit behind, unless he can fully be confident of overtaking the Alpine driver on the track. There's no need to do it, but I think Tortavia's taking the 40 out once again. He has. But there's no point, because if he continues to drive like this, push the boundaries and limits, he might get a 3-second penalty, because he's been off the track multiple times. So any more infringements could lead to a penalty. And if he does get a penalty, in hindsight, be thinking back, why? Because I could have got a podium, but I've been pushing too hard, you see, and therefore I got a penalty. So just play it safe. Don't do an overtake unless you're fully confident you can. And don't go off the track multiple times, because carrying the speed through, he doesn't have the downforce to turn in. The car's like a boat going towards the corners. Kick knows he can't really overtake him with that front wing damage. But shall we give the spotlight towards the man in first place, because that's ever since that second safety car restart, he has drove past all the drama. Literally just fired past all the bullshit that was going on behind us. And he has put that all behind him. And ever since the safety car restart, and ever since the pit stops, he has driven to perfection. No mistakes whatsoever. Kept his head. Kept out all the drama, all the crashes, all the controversy. And he has driven this race to perfection after that safety car restart. That safety car really helped him in terms of his strategy to leapfrog everybody in the pit lane. And Kick is right behind the Alpine, but not able to go for a move. It looks like he's going for a broke right now. All or nothing there for Kick. But Kays is coming towards the final corner. What an excellent race it's been from the Kick Sauber. And for the first time this season, it is the Kick Sauber Kays who wins the Monza Grand Prix. And Fablés, despite all of his drama and troubles earlier on, will finish in P2. But behind us, Kick rounds off the top 3 to finish in third place for the final spot on the podium. What a race for the Dutchman of Kays. And finally, this race is done and dusted. I've been waiting for this moment to come. But yes, apologies about this race. It's been just, unnecessary driving there. The eventful race is now over. More hectic than I thought it was. Full of drama, full of action. Full of trouble indeed. But it is finally over. And the next race of the season is Austin. So tune in for that next Thursday at the same time, about 6:30. And hopefully be a better race. But of course, enjoy the Austin Grand Prix this weekend. It's a sprint weekend. And let's see who comes out on top. Verstappen has been looking very good so far. Can he bring down the gap in the Drivers' Championship? Can Norris beat Piastri, or can Piastri beat Norris? This could be a mega fight this weekend in Austin. Let's see what happens and find out this weekend. I'll see you all later. Goodbye for now, and take care in peace.